and welcome to the first episode of Ringside Junkies. I'm your co-host, Derrick. And on this show, we're going to share information about upcoming fights as well as historical fights. And while doing so, we're going to have some fun. Hopefully you have fun while watching. So let's get into it. To kick off this first episode, we're going to first talk about a fight between Keith one-time Thurman against Sebastian Fundora, better known as the Tire Inferno. The Tire Inferno brings a record of 21-1 with 15 knockouts, while Keith Thurman, the older man, brings in a record of 31 wins, 1 loss, and 20 wins by way of knockout. With me today is the co-owner of this company, Ringside Junkies, is Dana Miller.
All right.
And sitting to my left here is Apples from San Diego, California. They're going to help break down this fight tonight and give you guys some insights on what's going to happen or what should happen tonight. First thing I want to talk about is the weigh-in last night. I think Keith Thurman actually looked really, really good. He actually, to me, looked more fit than he has been, especially since he's been out the ring, I think as long as 30 months.
Yeah.
You know, and his last win over Brock Jarvis just a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he looks good. I think this rest has done him some good.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you look or talk about, Sebastian Fundora, the last fight was 6 months ago against Tim Tszyu with a knockout.
Mm-hmm.
This should be an entertaining fight.
Mm-hmm.
But with the weigh-in last night, what did that tell us when Keith came in at actually underweight?
That tells us that he had a really good camp. Very good boxing camp. Him coming in shape, as Fundora as well. So you can tell they had 2 good camps. Keith Thurman, he actually looks like that's the best I've ever seen him. Really, he's kind of chiseled, especially being an older fighter. But it looks like they're both ready to give the boxing world a great show tonight.
Apples, what do you make of the weigh-in?
Well, as both of you mentioned, it's a good fight that we're about to see, and styles do make fights, and we have to see a guy that's at 6'6", I believe, fighting a gentleman that's far beneath his height. But Keith gonna have to bring it the way he normally do, and Fundora's gonna have to bring it the way he does, the way his style as well. I'm looking for a good fight. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I mentioned earlier, Keith, one time being an older gentleman, I think he's 36 years of age. I think, the Tire Inferno, I think he's 27 or 28, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, as an older fighter at 36, what I've seen is that fighters are looking like that last hurrah, maybe 1 or 2 guys, to kind of retire with, to kind of sail off into the sunset. They usually don't fight, a big bag like this, right? And I guess what I'm suggesting, this could be a little much than what Keith is asking for. What do you think that?
Well, yeah, it could be, but because look, Keith Thurman, you gotta remember he's a household name. So all he needs is that one fight. This could be the fight tonight to get him back into the championship. Well, he could get the championship tonight if he wins, but it only takes one fight for a household fighter to get right back into the thick of things. Then, but it depends on what Keith want to do tonight if he wins the fight. But he's in there with, hey, he's a towering inferno, 6'6". Keith's gonna have to try to get around that. Not only is he an inferno's tall, but he just brings that pressure. Like, we'll see what Keith can deal with that. But like I say, it only takes one fight, and this could be the fight for Thurman to get back into the thick of things. And he brings that experience, and he's been there before. So we'll see what happens.
Coach Apples, you mentioned earlier about Fundora's height, being 6'6". The one thing we need to talk about is that man's got an 80-inch arm reach. It's ridiculous, right? But what makes this so unique is that he doesn't fight like that. He actually fights on the inside like a shorter guy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is that going to present a problem for him tonight when he faces Keith one-time Thurman?
It will. It will for him, being that he's tall and he should use his reach, 80-inch reach, rather than go inside and try to battle with a guy that got power, inside power. And Keith can punch. He can crack. And if he catches Fundora right, and catch him, and indeed he will, if he comes in and try to fight Fundora in a way that, a style that Fundora is going to fight him, possibly. We don't know. He may change the style up because he know that to keep bringing something with him. But if he doesn't come correct, Fundora, Keith will present himself in a way we all know he can do.
And that's a good point. Because both fighters, especially Keith, I think his last fight against Brock Jarvis was a 7-round knockout.
With Keith?
Yes.
No, he knocked him out in 3.
3rd round knockout Keith had.
But that kid was very confident going into the fight against Thurman.
Right, and like I said before, Keith's 31 wins, 23 of them by knockout. So it's not like he can't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And you got to remember, he only got 1 loss, and it's to the great Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao. So is that really a loss? Yeah, it is.
You know, he got humbled in that one, but other than that, you know, Keith been, I mean, he's a world champion.
Yeah, that's good.
So he's gonna have to, you know, Fundora. I don't think Fundora's ever been in these bright lights before. But what he brings is, you know, that he's younger. I'm not sure if he's stronger, but you know, he definitely just brings a lot of energy. We're gonna, but he gets hit. He does get hit.
And that's that inside game of his. I think that is why we like him so much, right? But also could get him hurt. You know, especially when dealing with somebody like Keith Thurman, who's got the experience, right? Who has been in shape, right? Especially with the 30-month hiatus. No knocking you, Keith, right? But I do think that with the time Keith has been out, is actually helped him a whole lot in facing these young lions. And depending on if he takes any damage tonight, moving forward as well. And speaking of, let's talk about this moving forward for Keith. What does a win for him do over Fundora? What does a win do for him if he does win?
Well, a win pushes him forward to other fights that says he's still relevant and that he's still here and his and the style that he fights, and it doesn't make him where people would suggest like you need to hang up the gloves. But so far, from what I see, Thurman fighting style and what he's done so far, he looks relevant. He looks like he's in shape. He looks like he's taking care of his health. And so, as you mentioned, time being off didn't do him a lot of good. But Fundora is bringing the style that I know he hasn't seen nobody but an 80-inch reach that throws punches often and many. So this is going to be a real chance to see what style is going to be fit in terms of winning and who's going to bring it.
Dan, on the other side of that, what is a win for Fundora mean of Keith Thurman?
Oh man, well, first of all, he's getting that would be a good name on his record. So that's definitely going to push him forward into maybe, because I know Fundora, he wants to unify 154. Well, get all the belts. So this will be the first step in him moving forward. The Boxer world already loves him. Like, he's a humble guy. So people love that about him because he don't talk. You know, you see, keep doing all the talking. And
Forget it, baby. Forget it.
So
Keep
keep doing all the talking, but he just sit back. He just said he does his thing in the ring, and you gotta respect that. He's a humble kid. Keith even love him. You know what I'm saying? You can't help but to love this kid Fundora because of his character. But it's gonna push him for a win like this over in shape Keith Thurman, because I mean, even though he's older, Keith looks good, man. I mean, he came in, but he's ready to bang tonight. So this is going to be a good win for Fundora if he can, which is well within his reach in this fight. Either one can win tonight. So Yeah.
So the man said either one could win tonight. You know what I'm going to say. Well, let me preface it this way.
Okay.
You know, I've been following Keith Thurman for a long time.
Mhm.
You know, I may mess with his speech and better a little bit. Keith, right.
All right, man.
But with looking at his record, his experience, and his time off, right? I think that he could pull off a split decision win, right? So I think it's going a distance, split decision, Keith Thurman.
Well, it depends who shows up. Not gonna keep gonna be itself.
That's exactly right.
I sort of allude to it. My partner here, Dana, speaking about knockout, a potential knockout. But I'll put it like this: Fundora coming there and boxing style that's comfortable with Keith, his style of fighting. Knockout is for sure, for certain. Stays back and he fights him at a reach at 80, 80 inches reach, and he fight. It make the whole fight different, and it'll go last for 12 rounds. But I'm gonna go with the veteran because and he don't look like he lost much, so I'm gonna have to go with the veteran, Keith, to win it. Fundora, if he don't come, you come inside and you think you're gonna mix it up with him, it's a knockout. But if you stay at the end of your jab and use your jab, I believe it'd be a close fight. But I think Keith's going to bring experience, and I got to win for Keith Thurman.
Well, that's a tall order right there, especially if you're saying or hoping that Keith is going to try to out jab this kid. But we'll see.
Yeah,
We're just speaking inside.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
jab, not so, but inside.
I can't get him.
But in.
I'll bring out one of this caveat as well, though. And this is going for Fundora. Now, my prediction is I just think Keith has the experience, the ring IQ to take advantage of when Fundora comes on the inside. But there could be a way to where Fundora can win if he can come inside and crack that body of Keith Thurman. Remember, y'all, Keith don't like his body.
Cut it
You know
out.
what I mean?
Cut it out.
Well, I'm
Yes,
just saying,
yes, you do.
Thurman don't like his body.
Yeah.
So
Say you soft. Say you soft. Don't believe it.
Well, Barrios got to that body, Keith. You know that. So anyway, and we talking about Mario Barrios. I mean, no disrespect, I like you, Barrios, too. But I'm just saying, if Fundora can come in there, and one time you heard the old saying, treat him like an old man. If he go in there and treat Keith like an old man, he might get the victory tonight, pressuring him, and getting that body every single chance he get. Because Thurman likes it to the body. But what I'm thinking happen tonight, because Fundora not only gets hit, he likes to get hit. So he likes it because he'll take 1-2 to get his one in. So he loves it. He loves to get hit, but it might get him in trouble. Remember, he's been down before against Lubin. Like Lubin put down that town on the trouble. So it was a temper. Now he won the fight. Yeah. He won the fight, but you know, it shows that he can be cracked and he can be put to the.
But we talk about different type of
right.
Okay.
Lubin's power versus Thurman's power.
Gotcha.
I just don't feel that that's going to be a something that he'll be able to handle. Keith,
okay. Gotcha.
Well, not just that, but also yes, he can, but he's also a cerebral fighter, right? He's not going to sit and slug with him like
right.
Really loves to slug,
right?
Keith, I love it. You not stay in that pocket all that long, baby. Come on, you know we're not doing. You ain't built like that, man. We're gonna be smart, right? We're come in, yeah.
That's why I'm giving Thurman this fight. I think Thurman is going to win tonight based on the style. That's getting it for me.
So you call it a knockout? What do you call it?
I think it's going to be a knockout.
He don't have another choice.
It could be a decision, but I think it's going to be a knockout tonight.
What makes all this interesting, right? Each one of us have our own opinion about who we think would win, but ultimately it's going to be in the judges' hands tonight, and none of us actually know what they're looking for. Right? Well, that's another episode.
Hey, that's another episode. Yep. I'm about to say
Right,
that's another episode
right.
there.
I'm saying, I think Jack is going to go with also Keith Thurman. He's not really saying what's going to happen, but right. And Dana's saying knockout. Right. So you saying is that the only way Keith wins for knockout? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, he can win by decision as well, but I'm thinking it could be a late stoppage. Late. It could be a late stoppage, but we do have to keep in mind Thurman sometimes slows down a little bit as the fight goes on too. But I just think
that man winded.
but I think he just has what it takes to just to outsmart the kid tonight. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, those are opinions on the fight tonight. Be sure to tune in. I think the fight's going to be live streamed on Amazon Prime tonight.
Yeah,
Amazon pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the first 6 or so fights are going to be free starting at 5 o'clock today, right? Eastern time, right? So you guys be sure to tune in and watch that. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe to, especially if you like what's been presented to you guys here. You can only get better going forward.
Ringside Junkies.
Ringside Junkies, baby. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm your boy D.
Peace.
Peace.